Hi, my name is Larry, and before we get into the scholarship application, let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about myself, so we can get to know you can get to know me and my background and where I'm from. I am from USC. I am a student at USC, senior, last year coming up, and I am also the former president of the USC Veterans Club, which is doing well right now. That's the picture that you see in the background over there. Just wanted to play that while I was talking. What I do is I advocate for veterans, and I also act as a resource or a guider or a leader, so that they have somebody to turn to when they need help for anything. That way, life is a bit easier on campus, and I could help take away some of the problems, so that they're not competing at a disadvantage with other students. And that's me. Starting off, Insight at the Summit, which is a very good experience, very good summit that we had the past few weeks ago. Start off, I guess I'll have to get into the story of what had happened prior to the dinner that was before the summit. All right, so I got the bios from no, it was from Whitney, and I read all of them. I tried to memorize all the names, and I noticed that many of these veterans, actually all of them, have very, very amazing background. Kind of, my background was kind of crappy, but that was the thing. I was intimidated. I didn't believe that I belonged in this group. Actually, I thought about not even coming. But I came up with a plan, and I said, "Hey, all right, I'm going to show up to dinner, and I'm going to project a brand that everybody will love and adore, and including the Googlers. They'll want me to be there." And I get there after taking care of all my responsibilities here in LA. I fly over, tired, get to dinner, and my plan just went down the tubes. I was tired, I was stuttering, I couldn't hold a conversation. I had to sit down every 10 minutes, and we were eating pizza, and I was hungry, and I'm lactose intolerant, and I hate the pizza. There's my night. And then the next day, I go with the same plan, same motivated plan. Let's do this. And I kind of burn out because I'm learning all this stuff, but trying to project this brand, but it's just not working, and I'm tired. I'm not being me. So by the end of the night, I just said, I'm going to be me. Let's go to dinner. I'm not even going to try anymore. I'm just going to do this. I got here somehow, some way for a reason. Let's just enjoy something that doesn't have cheese on it. All right. So I get to dinner, and what did you know it? I get seated at the farthest corner away from any Googler, and I'm like, all right, well, that's fine. I didn't want to do anything anyway. I was just gonna eat, and I'm like kind of stuck in between four other veterans. So I'm literally surrounded by veterans at my table now, and I'm listening to their conversation. I'm trying not to fall asleep, and a lot of them went around and they introduced themselves and told their stories, and they wanted to find out about me. So I told them what I do and how I care about veterans, and how I know that there's a lot of issues out here, and try to solve them and try to get the resources that they need, and the trust and all this stuff. And after that, they had a lot of questions, and after hearing their stories, I started to realize that the majority of the people in this summit are all transitioning from the military, which was kind of like a red flag for me. Like, wait, these guys are the elite of the elite. They don't have to go through this transition, right? This is only applies to maybe the small little me's like Larry and all my other guys at USC. But no, that's not true. That's what I've learned, is that it doesn't matter who you are, or how great or what kind of accomplishments you've had, you're going to face this burden, and that's very important. And it's important to protect yourself. Not even protect yourself. It's important that other people are aware of this, and that they're out there to help you, and you have to be open about it, because that's just the thing. The best way I could describe the best way I could describe this transition is through a metaphor, and it's about this taking a domestic animal and putting it into the wild, teaching it how to hunt, how to survive, how to kill, and then bringing that animal back into the domestic life, and then you expect it to act domesticated. It's not going to fly, and that's the common problem that many veterans are dealing with. And that, as a student, it's even tougher because you have a lot on your table. You don't have to, not worried about just the normal things. You're worried about the normal things and the student things. And yes, there are a lot of resources out there, but to a veteran, a piece of paper doesn't go very far. You know, in our world, it's all about trust and hearing it from somebody that you trust. And what I believe is that the only way to engage a veteran is to have earned their trust and to have a common spirit. And what that means is, if you're not in their shoes at the same time at that point in their lives, like, you know, as them, you're not an equal, then you don't know what you're talking about. And that's where I come in and I take the lead and I become their leader. I earn their trust and I am a student and I've been through all the trials that they're about to face. And I'm the guy who kind of like Chuck Norris is his way through all of the obstacles, you know, and make sure they don't make the same mistakes that I made, and make sure they don't make the same mistakes that any other vets have made. And even if there isn't any mistakes, at least help them get a optimal experience at USC, you know, and they can compete without a disadvantage. I mean, yeah, without being disadvantaged from, you know, your other students. And that's important to me. That's my passion. My passion is to help vets. And at first, I thought that my idea was just a fluke before the summit. That, you know, this is what I've learned from the summit. At first, I thought all these things that I've been doing, all these thoughts, all this planning, these theories were just some kind of weird thing that was just only happening at USC, or maybe it was just a weird thing that was only happened to the 7 or 13 people that I've helped. You know, I couldn't. Maybe it's only at a certain bar, and as you go past this bar, nobody else has to experience that. Maybe it's a learning thing. I don't know. But going to the summit and experiencing or meeting all of these other veterans that are like, you know, so impressive, they scare even me. You know, I'm not scared of anybody, but you can see that no matter how high up you are, or how much training you've had, or how elite or how prestigious or whatever university you're going to, it's similar for all vets. It's you know, we're all going to face that, and then that strengthened my theory and my ideas, and it makes me want to continue on with what I've been working with, helping other vets, helping people, making their lives better. Because I was going to stop it at first before I went to the summit, because I wanted to just focus on myself now. I mean, I did my time and I'm out, but I can't do that now that I know this. And there's going to be an influx of 100 more veterans coming into this campus, and I have to be there and be the guy, be their buddy, be the leader. Because at Google, they told you, I learned that if you have an idea that you believe in and you're passionate about, then you can't just leave it to die. You got to go with it, you know, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep on moving no matter what. I might have to rearrange my classes a little bit. I might have to work a little bit harder, but it's worth it. It's worth helping people. What I plan on doing now is I'm going to just advocate for veterans now that I don't have a position. Even though I'm not the president anymore, I'm still a leader. So you can't stop that. So I'm going to be there for them, and I'm going to try to inspire other veterans to maybe even take over my seat when I'm leaving, or maybe use my ideas and expand it. And also, maybe even mentor other veterans and have them follow so they can take over the club. Or mentor them so that maybe someday they'll find meaning in their life, or some kind of meaning or passion, just like me. It doesn't have to be the same thing, but at least I could show them that you've got to find something that's important to you and stick with it. The scholarship, that's a big thing to me. It's amazing. It's wonderful, you know. But you messed up on one thing with that scholarship, and let me tell you why. See, if it's supposed to be a competition, you're supposed to not want to lose. But if you've got just us 20 vets, I'm only competing against 19 other guys. And if I lose, I still win because one of my brothers is still getting it. So it doesn't really matter, does it? I still get the same satisfaction, I suppose. But that's just how I feel about that. Kind of like watching your brother winning a race or something. I guess I'll move into the nomination for 2012 Mr. Googly. All right, who do I nominate? Freddie. Yes, Freddie Torres. I'm going to nominate Freddie Torres as 2012 Mr. Googly. Why? Because he's a wisecracking guy. He'll he'll throw a joke at you. You won't laugh because it sucks. Then he'll try to make fun of himself so that everybody else will laugh. That type of guy. Very outgoing. He volunteers not because he wants to participate. He, that sounds bad, but he's trying to egg everybody on so that they can, push in and give their ideas and work, and participate and just keep on going. He's just full of energy. After hours, he's the man with the master plan. That's what he calls himself. But how can I explain that? Okay, picture Smokey and the Bandit plus Knight Rider in a rental car under his uncle's name. And that was in your neighborhood. Yeah. No, seriously, he's a really good guy and he's very entertaining. Another example would be True Colors. True Colors was an activity we did, and I think it was first day. And he would be there, and he's just, people were just doing their one-liners, but he was pushing them to come up with more ideas because he's got this creative side to him. I think he's a web designer, and he throws it in there. And at one point, I got stuck because I didn't really know what a word is, because I'm a Marine and our vocabulary is somewhere over here. Navy is somewhere over here. But he came over and he told me what it meant, and then he helped me come up with ways to express myself in that way and throw out more ideas. Make the list higher and higher. That's the kind of guy he is in these activities. So I thought he was good. I thought he'd be a good nomination. But, gotta tell you the truth, I mean, it's not obvious. I would understand why you'd want to say, or you would want to ask us who to nominate. But that's kind of unfair, because just observing us from a standpoint as us being your guests, it's not going to work, because when you guys leave the room, these guys turn into the googliest guys I've ever seen. I mean, wild men, National Lampoon's Van Wilder is PG-13 compared to these guys, really. But the reason is, some of these guys are transitioning out of the military, and they all have a standardized behavior. So it ain't going to work like that. The reason this camaraderie that we have, getting together, only vets for vets, we have that because that's just the way our team works. We work as a team. That's how we develop our strategies, We're kind of closed off, and until we've been out for a little while, we'll learn that. But we work together in that way. We bounce ideas off of each other for confirmation, and that's how we develop a trust. If you got a vet bouncing an idea off another vet, that's because he trusts you, because he would never share that with anybody else. And then the vet confirms it, and that's how we come up with silly things like stick of sticks and all that. But yeah, we do bounce ideas off each other. That's just another form of how we express our trust to each other. And one more thing that you probably didn't see is a lot of these guys have strong goals, big goals, they want to make an impact. And I thought that was googling. They're not thinking 10 blocks away. They're thinking years away. They're thinking, I'm going to alter my entire life so I can help other people. So a few of them told me they were going to go to Washington. They're trying to get into Washington. They don't care what job. And I was like, well, hopefully you'll get a job that they'll enjoy. But I asked them why, and they said, because once you get to Washington, I can make a difference up there. I was like, wow, you're aligning your life just to help other people. What is that? That's googly. So you can't just pick one guy who's the most googly. All of these guys have a mission, and it's for other people. They always think for other people, and I think that's probably because it's a military thing. So, once again, there's just so much energy out there at the summit. There's so much creativity, ideas just floating around, but it just doesn't shine outside the military culture, which is why you didn't see that. But yeah, I nominated Freddie, but in reality, I think everybody is just as good. So that's my deal. That's my speech, my application. Thank you for listening to me babble on and stutter and mutter and butcher the English language. My name is Larry de Guzman, and I'm going to do my American Idol thank you, contestants. You're all great, except for you sucked. Seacrest, out!